Alright, what's going on, guys? So, welcome back to episode 3 of Mahou Touki, Lilustear. So, this is part 3, and I'm not gonna lie, this has been one of the most interesting ones I've seen in a while because this has we finally get to see the backstory of the Hameldars. Now, I wouldn't really say a backstory, but we finally get to meet like the head honcho of this evil organization. So we get to see, but we don't know the name of this character because this looks like a deity. So as you guys can see here, it was a very eerie and cool night, and Rin is actually very sad about the situation because she can still find Frostia, which is Himeya senpai. Now, we get to this unknown location. Now, we don't know where this is exactly, but this looks like the main base of operations for the Hameldars. And the guy is like, the boss is like asking him, hey, listen, did you capture Lilustear yet? And he says, well, I'm sure, no, he's asking for Frostia. So Frostia, he was like, well, boss, she's like kind of escaping, but she can't escape. So they try to like find her. Now he's asking, who's this Lilustear character? And he's like, well, that's probably one of the newbies, but we don't know where this one come from. So the boss is like, well, tell you what, new mission, forget change of plans. So we get rid of Lilustear immediately, so we can then get rid of Frostia, which he of course vehemently agree with the idea. So we get to see Ren in a very depressive state. And she's really thinking about how to save her senpai for some reason. And she's walking around the hallway until she raises her head and she sees Kishibe. So Kishibe is looking a bit like very pensive, and she sees Rin, and then she's asking her, hey, what's wrong? You look kind of troubled. Then Rin is like, well, I can't seem to find Frostia because she wants to find out where are all the women being kidnapped or where they are at. So she explains that about the whole Hameldar situation and how their energy suckers that it makes women weak. Now she did explain one major detail that was a bit overlooked. So apparently, while the mana is good, however, it can also be bad because while you can use the ultimate, like the Lure Tornado Punch, she can also, her body weakens. So that's why she can only use it one at a time. If she tries to use it multiple times, she can become extremely weak and will eventually pass out after using so much energy. So in this next scene, we get to notice something very interesting. So Kishibe is actually trying to tell Rin that there is a way to find them, but she's still trying to figure out how she could find the base because apparently Lilustear may have unintentionally destroyed one of their main base of operations where they kept the women captive. Now, this is something interesting because there is like no main base. There's like one, at least they were indirectly managed to find one of their bases. Now, as you guys saw on the episode on the scene earlier in the video, you guys can see that that's probably the main base of operations. And while the team leader was explaining to the boss himself that there would be that one of their main base of operations, which happens to be in an apartment complex. So in this scene, she sees these two goons. Lilustear happens to transform, and she's about to attack them and interrogate them to find out where to gather information as to what the main base of operation is. Now she gets stopped by Kishibe herself, and Kishibe is like, listen, I know you want to confront these guys, but you're taking a major risk. So she's like, how do you know my name? And Lilustear is like, well, you probably must be dreaming, must be tripping or some shit. So anyways, she comes up with a plan where she uses herself as bait. She's about to be the helpless damsel in distress, and she's like, listen, are you sure you want to do this? It's a bit risky, so listen, it's the only way so we can know where their base of operation is at. So she will use herself as bait. She'll make the sacrifice, and you can follow them so you will not be traced. So she's like, okay, you know what? Even though it's risky, you can do it. So she ended up going, and the goons ended up seeing her, and one karate chop to the neck, and she passed out. Now the goons take her back to what it looks like the main base, but it's actually one of the base of operations, which happens to be a mall that was closed down many years ago. So she ended up following them to this mall, and this is where she was able to confront them and ask where the hell is the boss, or where's the main base of operations, and also, where is Frostia? Because she's nowhere to be found in this one. So in this scene, Lilustear ended up confronting the team leader, and the team leader is like, "You will never know what you do here. You destroy one of our main base of operations, and you're gonna pay for that." So he decides to say, "Hey, attack this bitch." So the two goons decide to attack her, but of course she was able to handle herself, and she ended up using like a lure smash attack and attacked the both of them in one punch. And I'm not gonna lie, she's actually holding her own here, which is crazy to me, right? So, and this next scene is gonna be quite wild because while she's fighting the team leader now, the team leader ended up overpowering her in terms of strength because he was obviously taller and bigger than her. So he ended up penetrating her insides to the point where she was able to collect enough mana so she can use her ult and ultimately ended up defeating one of the team leaders. Now, she was interrogating him finally and asking him, okay, where is Frostia and where is the main base of operations? But their team leader was like, I cannot tell you. And whilst he's talking, he's actually disintegrating. Like, it reminds me of that one scene in Helsing Ultimate where I believe Luke Valentine and his brother was being interrogated to find out where did this attack suddenly come from. And the brother ended up being disintegrated whilst he was talking. And this is exactly how I get the same energy and it's an exact vibe. So he disintegrated, and Kishibe was like, she was thankful as she was able to save her on time because the other two goons was about to, tear one into her. But fortunately, Kishibe-san was saved, and of course, she ended up telling herself, well, Rin, or I should say Lilustear, ended up saying, I need to save Frostia sooner or later. Because again, we don't know where she's actually at. All we know is that Frostia is trapped in a warehouse, but we don't know where exactly it is. That's the crazy part. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I mean, this was actually pretty good. This third episode has shown me some kind of perspective where we get to finally see the boss. Okay, so just to recap very quickly. So we get to see the boss. Rin was a bit depressed. She was able to concoct a plan along with Kishibe. Concocted this plan to get herself kidnapped, risking her life to make sure they get to the base of operations. Ended up confronting the team leader along with the two goons and ended up being disintegrated because of her ultimate that she just used. And even though she tried to get that information, I guess the team leader disappeared. But anyways, thank you so much for watching and look out for part 4. Until then, peace out.